I was halfway through an old episode of Shark Tank, eating cold pizza straight from the box, when the front door clicked open. Kendra walked in, dropping her keys in that loud, dramatic way she always did when she wanted me to notice her without saying anything. She was back from her pottery class, same as every Thursday. Hair in a messy bun, that stupid canvas tote over her shoulder with Clay Day vibes, printed across it like she was saving the world with mugs. Without looking at me, she headed straight for the bedroom. "Hey," she called out casually, like she was asking me to take out the trash. "Can you sleep in the guest room tonight? I need the master to stretch out and reset." Didn't even turn around to say it. Just walked in, dumped her bag, and started changing like I wasn't even there. Like I was a roommate with a curfew. I didn't say anything. I didn't argue. Just muted the TV and got up, walking past her like I was going to the guest room. But instead, I opened the closet and started packing a bag. Quick note: before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. T-shirts, socks, my laptop, toothbrush. No drama, just action. I'd been dismissed one too many times, and this wasn't just about tonight. This was about every Thursday I'd been told I snored too much, or my energy was off, or she needed space to meditate. It was always me that needed to adjust. I zipped up the duffel, grabbed my charger, and that's when she finally noticed. "Wait, where are you going?" she asked, eyebrows pulled tight. "You're not actually mad, are you?" I looked at her, standing there barefoot in her tank top like she hadn't just kicked me out of my own damn bed, and kept my voice calm. "I'm going to check into that resort near Lake Orion. They've got vacancy. Since you need space, I figured I'd give it to you." She scoffed, then paused like she wasn't sure how to react. "You're blowing this way out of proportion. It's just one night. One night every week," I said, stepping past her toward the door. "You've made the bed, Kendra. Enjoy it." Her tone shifted instantly. "Babe, come on. Seriously. You're being really immature right now." I didn't answer, just walked out, threw my bag in the back seat, and booked the room from my phone in the car. 30 minutes later, I was pulling into the Circle Drive of a high-end golf resort, valet waiting like I actually belonged there. I checked in under my own name. For once, nobody was rolling their eyes at me. The front desk handed me a key card, smiled like I just won a prize, and pointed toward the elevator. "Room on the 4th floor. King bed. Balcony view." I didn't say much, just nodded, thanked them, and made my way up. The room smelled like clean linen and money. Quiet, cool, not a single thing out of place. I dropped my bag, towed off my shoes, and laid down on the bed fully clothed. Didn't even pull the covers back. I was out cold in 5 minutes. No anxiety tossing, no midnight shuffling to the couch. Just gone. When I woke up, it was daylight. 8:42 a.m. to be exact. The first time I'd slept through the night in hell, I couldn't remember. I reached for my phone on the nightstand and saw 18 missed texts from Kendra. First few: "Really? This is insane. You said you needed rest, but this is childish." Then it turned: "Can we talk? I didn't mean it like that. You left me and didn't even say goodbye." Last one, timestamped at 2:13 a.m. "I'm scared and alone. Just come home." I locked the screen and tossed the phone onto the bed. Downstairs, I found the cafe by the lobby and grabbed a table by the window. Ordered pancakes, eggs, sausage, black coffee, the kind of breakfast I used to make on Saturdays back when things were good. Before she turned our relationship into a list of rules and mood swings. The food came out fast. I cut into the pancakes and had just taken the first bite when my phone buzzed again. "Kendra." I let it ring once, twice, then answered. "Yeah. Wow. So you're just ghosting now?" She snapped. "What are you trying to prove?" I kept my voice calm. "Nothing. I'm eating pancakes and enjoying not sleeping on a futon. This was one night, okay? One. You're acting like I kicked you out permanently." I dropped my fork. "You've been making me sleep in that guest room for months, Kendra. Snoring, your weird energy. The time I spilled water on the sheets and you said I ruined your sleep cycle. That's not fair." No, what's not fair is being treated like an intruder in my own bed every time your crystals are out of alignment. So yeah, I left. I found a better mattress. She went quiet. I could hear her breathing through the line. Then she hung up. Didn't take long for the backup to show up. Around 11, I got another call. This time it was Tara, her best friend, professional meddler, queen of unsolicited opinions. You abandoned her, dude, she said without saying hi. She's crying. She's confused. This isn't what adults do. I sipped my coffee. She asked me to sleep in the other room. I went and found one with better pillows. She just needed space. Tara, she's had all the space. Hell, she's had the bed. I've been sleeping like a damn intern for weeks. I checked into a resort, not rehab. You're being emotionally immature. And you're being loud on a call that's not yours. She huffed like she'd won something, then hung up. I paid my bill, left a big tip, and walked out to the patio to sit in the sun for a while. No noise, no demands, no guilt tripping. Just warm light, good coffee, and the sound of golf carts rolling by in the distance. I scrolled through the rest of the texts but didn't reply. If she needed space, she had it. I wasn't playing musical chairs with my dignity anymore. Let her sleep diagonally. I was still on the patio when Paul texted. Yo, you know Kendra's throwing a party at your place right now. I stared at the screen, eyebrows raised. Before I could reply, he sent a second message. Swear to God, I'm across the hall. People showing up in heels and bringing wine. She told Sarah you stormed out like a baby. You want me to record something? I didn't even hesitate. Yeah, do it. Less than 2 minutes later, my phone buzzed again. Voice memo. I hit play. The background was loud. Music, clinking glasses, people laughing. But her voice came through clear as day. He flipped out just because I asked for a little more bed space. He's always had these mantrams, like full-on ego breakdowns. So dramatic. She laughed like she was telling a cute story. Someone asked if we broke up and she replied, I don't know. He's sulking at some hotel. He'll come crawling back. He always does. That did it. Not the lie, not the party, the mockery. The smug tone, like she'd pulled off some genius move. I stood up, took a photo of the balcony view. Lake in the distance, pool lit up, calm night sky, and posted it on my story with a caption. Sometimes peace costs $389 a night. Worth it. Didn't tag her. Didn't name names. Just let it sit. 15 minutes later, I had 5 DMs. Then 10. By midnight, it was blowing up. Mutual friends commenting. Finally someone said it. Good for you, man. She made it sound like you lost your mind. Someone posted a screenshot of the voice memo with the caption. She's lying again, lol. Then another friend commented under the original post. If I got kicked out of my own bed every week, I'd book the damn penthouse. Turns out a lot of people had been biting their tongues around her. I'd just given them an opening. Then the group text started. Paul, whole party's hearing about your post now. She looks pissed. Tara, surprisingly silent. But her sister, we used to hang out before Tara got weird, replied to the story. You're not crazy. You just finally left. I wasn't smiling, but damn, it felt good not to be cornered for once. I poured myself a whiskey from the minibar and sat back down on the patio. Lights from the pool danced on the water below, and the air smelled like pine and chlorine. Quiet. Controlled. No games. Phone buzzed again. Kendra. Nice passive-aggressive post. Hope you're proud of yourself. I didn't answer. She followed up with, You humiliated me in front of our friends. I was trying to keep this private. Private, my ass. She was holding court like a bad reality show character while I was 2 towns over trying to digest pancakes in peace. I posted one more thing. Not a response. Just a screenshot of the reservation confirmation with the words, Sometimes silence is the only boundary you've got. That one hit harder. By 2 a.m., the likes and comments had tripled. I muted the notifications and put the phone face down. I wasn't doing this for sympathy or show. I just wanted the story straight. I hadn't stormed out. I'd been shoved out, slowly and repeatedly, until the guest room became the default and the master became hers. She just hadn't expected me to walk out the front door instead of rolling over like usual. Let her keep the wine. I had peace, and I wasn't crawling back. Next afternoon, I was sitting at the hotel restaurant, halfway through a burger, when my phone rang again, this time from the front desk. "Mr. Lawson? Sorry to bother you, sir. There's a woman here asking for a key to your room. Says she's your fiancé." I swallowed hard and wiped my mouth with a napkin. "Her name Kendra?" "Yes, sir." "Don't let her up." There was a pause. "Understood." I stood up, stepped away from the table, and walked over to the restaurant's glass wall. From where I was standing, I had a clear view of the lobby below. And there she was, Kendra, wearing the same yoga jacket she always threw on when she wanted to look casual but calculated. Hair done, lip gloss on. She wasn't just dropping by. She came here to win. She was leaning across the front desk, animated as hell. Hand gestures, exasperated sighs, pointing toward the elevators like she had the right to storm up. The front desk staff stood their ground, calm but firm. One of the managers stepped out to talk to her. Young guy, looked like he had no idea what he was walking into. I watched as she turned, scanned the lobby, spotted the restaurant, and locked eyes with me through the glass. She started walking. I backed away and went straight to the bar at the back of the restaurant. Bartender caught my look and didn't ask questions. I grabbed a stool where she couldn't see me, pulled out my phone, and turned off location sharing. Should have done that sooner. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Texts rolling in fast. "Really? You're hiding from me now. You're being dramatic. Can we please talk? You're making this worse. Why are you embarrassing me?" Another call from the front desk. I picked up. "Mr. Lawson? She's now trying to get other guests to verify she belongs here. Says she left her key upstairs." "Remove her," I said. "I don't want her anywhere near my room." "Yes, sir." I watched as two security guys walked out from the back hallway and approached her. She started talking fast, waving her hands, stepping back like they were overreacting. Then, in the middle of the lobby, she actually shouted, "I need to speak to my fiancé. Put him on the lobby PA if you have to." Heads turned. One of the security guys reached for his radio. The other gently touched her elbow, trying to escort her out. She twisted away, but she was outnumbered and losing the crowd. Finally, they walked her outside, still talking, her arms crossed and her jaw tight. I finished my drink, went back to my table, and blocked her number. Not an hour later, Paul texted me again. "Dude, you're not gonna believe this." I didn't even reply before the next message came in. She had maintenance change the locks. I asked Dave from the office. She told them you'd be out of town for a while and needed some privacy. I stared at my screen, jaw clenched. So she wasn't just playing victim. She was going full scorched earth, locking me out of my own place while throwing wine nights and shouting at hotel staff like I was the crazy one. I stood up from the table and grabbed my wallet. Tomorrow I'd call the landlord. Tonight, I'd enjoy the hell out of this resort bed, because when I went home, it wasn't going to be quiet anymore. Next morning, I woke up before the alarm. Didn't even need coffee. I knew exactly what I had to do. I sat on the edge of the bed, pulled up my landlord's number, and called. "Hey, this is Ryan Lawson, Unit 408. "Ryan. Yeah, what's up? So, did you authorize someone to change the locks on my door yesterday?" There was a pause. "Wait, what?" "Maintenance swapped out the deadbolt. My fiancé told them I'd be away for a while and she needed privacy." Another pause, longer this time. "Ryan, you're the only person on that lease. You're the sole tenant of record. That shouldn't have happened." "Well, it did. And she's not even answering my texts anymore." He muttered something under his breath, then came back. "I'll meet you there in an hour, bringing a locksmith. On us. Appreciate it." Click. I checked out of the resort 30 minutes later. No drama. Just tossed my keycard on the counter and nodded to the concierge like a man leaving a hotel. Not a war zone. Pulled into the parking lot of my building right as the landlord's gray SUV rolled up. The locksmith followed behind in a dusty work van. The landlord stepped out, shaking his head. I am so sorry about this. Someone's getting written up. I didn't answer, just pointed at the door. 10 minutes later, we were inside. It didn't feel like home. First thing I noticed, my gaming setup, dual monitors, headset, custom-built PC, crammed into the hall closet like a pile of laundry. Still plugged in. Wires twisted and mashed under shoes. In the living room, the furniture was rearranged like someone had spun it all around while drunk. Throw pillows everywhere. Some weird essential oil diffuser puffing fake lavender into the air. Then I looked at the guest room. It wasn't mine anymore. Her cousin, Alyssa, the freeloading one who always forgot her wallet, had moved in. There was a suitcase on the floor, makeup scattered across my dresser, and a laptop playing some reality show in the background. Empty Diet Coke cans stacked on the nightstand. I didn't even go in, just shut the door. In the kitchen, she taped a note to the fridge with a red Sharpie. Guess luxury mattered more than love. Hope the spa snacks were worth it. No name, no punctuation, just peak Kendra. I pulled out my phone and started documenting everything. Closet, guest room, the note, her stuff piled across every surface like I'd been erased in under 72 hours. Then I went to work, pulled out a stack of empty boxes from the closet and started packing her things. Neatly, one by one. Pottery tools, crystals, the stupid canvas tote, hair products that had taken over both bathrooms. I set each box carefully by the door, labeled them so she couldn't say I tossed anything. Took more photos. Didn't rush, didn't break a single item. Last thing I touched was the little glass jar she used for coins and hair ties, the one she swore she needed by the front door. I wrapped it in a dish towel and packed it with the rest. Then I grabbed a Sharpie and scribbled a note on the back of an old takeout menu. Since you need space, here's all of yours. Good luck. Left it on top of the boxes. Propped the door open just wide enough. As I stood in the hallway, I finally exhaled. Not relief, not yet. But I wasn't walking away this time. I was reclaiming my space, and she could spin whatever story she wanted. I'd already lived the truth. I didn't even get through a full sandwich before the messages started. First one came in like a missile. What is this? Then 5 more, one after the other. Are you out of your mind? You don't get to touch my stuff. This is illegal. Where the hell is my diffuser? I'm calling the cops. I set the phone down and finished my food. Turkey, mustard, no drama. 10 minutes later, I heard a knock at the door. Not a regular knock, the firm 3-beat cop knock. I opened it to 2 uniformed officers, mid-30s, not smiling. You Ryan Lawson? Yeah. Your fiancé says you threw her out of the residence unlawfully. I stepped aside. Come on in. They entered slowly, like they expected yelling or broken dishes. All they found was a spotless apartment and 5 neatly packed boxes by the door. Do you have proof of residence? I pulled out the lease agreement, my name, nobody else's, and handed it over. Then showed them the hotel receipt from the past few nights, followed by the screenshots of her texts. One said, "Can you please just sleep in the guest room tonight?" Another, "I need space. You're always in my air." I didn't even add commentary, just held the phone while they read. Right then, the front door flew open behind them. Kendra stormed in like it was her place. Leggings, oversized hoodie, phone clutched like a weapon. You need to arrest him, she snapped. He put my stuff out and changed the energy of this place on purpose. The taller cop held up his hand. Ma'am, step back. We're having a conversation. She crossed her arms and started breathing heavy, like she was trying to work up tears. This is so unfair. I'm going through a delicate time. He knows that. He left me pregnant and alone. I looked straight at her. No, you're not. Her voice cracked. Excuse me? You're not pregnant, Kendra. We haven't had sex in months. And you literally told me last week you started your period. The shorter officer tilted his head. Ma'am, is that true? She blinked, caught off guard. That's none of your business. The cop looked down at the lease again. Actually, it is. He's the legal tenant. You're not on this lease, and there's no cohabitation agreement. You can't change locks, you can't call this an eviction, and you can't make false medical claims. You're siding with him? He didn't flinch. We're siding with the law. She looked at me, eyes full of rage and fake disbelief. You're abandoning me. You made me sleep on a futon for 3 months. I said calmly. You asked for space. I gave it to you. You don't get to flip the script now. She spun around and started grabbing things. Not the boxes, just random stuff. A hoodie from the couch, a charger from the counter, a plant she never watered. The taller officer stepped forward. Ma'am, we need you to leave for now. You can arrange to collect the rest of your belongings through the proper process. We'll file a report for the lock change incident. But as of now, you have no legal claim here. She stood there, shaking, lips pressed together like she might scream. But she didn't. She walked out without another word. I closed the door behind her, clicked the deadbolt, and leaned back against it. Not sad, not mad, just done. About an hour after Kendra left with the cops trailing behind her, my phone lit up with a number I hadn't seen in months. Deborah, Kendra's mom. I let it ring twice, then picked up. Yeah. Her voice came in sharp and dramatic, like she was delivering closing arguments in a bad courtroom drama. You listen to me, Ryan. What you've done to my daughter is emotional cruelty, and we are looking into legal options. You don't just pack someone's life into boxes and lock them out like a stray cat. I sighed. She's not on the lease, Deborah. She lived there. You were building a life. You can't just throw that away like yesterday's garbage. Deborah, I said deadpan, do you want a breakdown of what I've paid for the last 2 years? She scoffed. Excuse me? I've got the receipts, I said. Every rent check, every utility bill, groceries, furniture, that stupid mid-century lamp she had to have. Hell, I even covered her pottery classes. You're not being reasonable. No, what's not reasonable is being told to sleep in a guest room I paid for, while your daughter played dictator over the thermostat, the decor, and the damn silverware. Silence. Then she hung up. I thought that was it. 10 minutes later, she called again. No hello this time, straight to business. Kendra wants reimbursement for her contributions. I blinked. Her what? She made that apartment feel like a home. She brought value, emotional labor, not to mention scented candles, artwork, and a very nice bulletin board she paid for herself. I actually laughed. You want me to cut a check for candles and a bulletin board? She deserves to feel whole again. I opened my laptop. Great. I'll send an invoice. What? I didn't answer, just pulled up Excel and started typing. 2 years of rent, $38,400. Utilities, $4,100. Groceries, $7,800. Furniture she picked out but never paid for, $2,300. Chiropractic visits from sleeping on a futon, $640. Parking fees, guest passes for her cousin, oil diffusers I was allergic to, rounded out the total to $53,000 and change. I PDF'd the invoice and emailed it to both Kendra and Deborah with the subject line. Final breakdown, per your request. No reply, no read receipt. Phone stayed silent after that. Guess the candles weren't worth fighting for. About 3 days later, Paul sent me a link with no caption. Just the link. I tapped it. It opened to a YouTube video. Black screen. White text. Recovering from Narcissistic Fiancés, Episode 1. What they took from me. I hit pause, already pissed. Thumbnail was Kendra. In her car, doing that fake cry face I'd seen 100 times. Eyes wide, voice soft, chin trembling like she'd just survived a plane crash. I watched it anyway, out of curiosity. She started with, "So, this isn't easy for me to talk about," followed by a deep sigh. I was with someone who made me feel small, someone who financially controlled me, emotionally shut me out, and made me feel like a guest in my own home. I laughed out loud. Guest in her own home? She kept going. He wouldn't let me decorate, always had to approve what I bought, tracked spending, and said things like, "I pay for this," when we argued. He even made me feel guilty for needing space to sleep. That part That part got to me. I wasn't mad. I was stunned. The level of delusion it took to twist reality like that. It was almost impressive. But I didn't need to defend myself. The internet did it for me. The comments section lit her up. Didn't you tell everyone he left over a bed argument? Girl, we were at your party. You told people he had a mantram. Weren't you the one making him sleep on a futon? Is this about Ryan Lawson? Because he literally posted proof. Then came the receipts. Someone posted screenshots of her texts. The I need space ones I'd shared with a friend. Another person added a clip from the resort post I made. Sometimes peace costs $389 a night. Worth it. The comments flipped fast, from supportive to savage. People called her out for weaponizing mental health, faking victimhood, and trying to ruin someone's rep over a breakup she started. By the end of the day, the video had more dislikes than views. Episode 2 never dropped. The whole series disappeared the next night. I thought that was the end of it until I got a DM from some guy named Ricardo. Didn't recognize the name at first. Then I saw the mutual followers, all from her pottery class. He kept it short. Hey man, I know we don't know each other, but I think you deserve to hear this. He followed with a wall of texts. Kendra told him we were in an emotionally open relationship. Claimed I traveled all the time and we had an agreement where she could explore other connections, as long as she was discreet. She even told him I'd encouraged it to balance the power dynamic. Power dynamic. Jesus. He said they went out a few times. Coffee, art walks, basic stuff. But then she started talking about next steps. Moving in. Getting out of a toxic environment. He got suspicious, did some digging, and realized we weren't open, we were unraveling. So he cut her off. I just wanted to say I'm sorry, he wrote. I didn't know she was lying. I'm not that kind of guy. I told him no hard feelings. Hell, he dodged a bigger bullet than I did. She was trying to move on before she even moved out. After that, I stayed off social media for a while. Let the dust settle. I didn't need to win. I just needed peace. And at that point, her story was crumbling faster than I could have planned myself. I was halfway through vacuuming when my phone rang. Mom. Hey, I answered. Her voice was tight. Are you going to tell me why Kendra and her mother are sitting in my living room crying and saying you abandoned her? I stopped the vacuum, hit the power button, and leaned against the wall. You're kidding. I wish. She said you threw her out during a medical crisis. Ryan, what the hell is going on? Put me on speaker. She didn't argue. I heard the speaker click and the slight echo kick in. All right, I'm on, I said. Kendra, if you're gonna lie, at least pick one and stick with it. You told me you were pregnant, but that's impossible since we haven't been intimate in 4 months. You also told me you had your period last week. Silence. And you changed the locks on my apartment. That's not a breakup, that's illegal. You threw a party while telling people I had a mantram, then made a YouTube series accusing me of financial abuse, all while trying to move in with Ricardo from pottery class. Still no one said anything. I kept going. Your mom called threatening legal action over scented candles and a bulletin board. Meanwhile, I've got a lease in my name, receipts for everything you freeloaded off, and screenshots of you telling me to sleep in the guest room for energy reasons. You want me to keep going. That's when my mom spoke up, and when I say spoke up, I mean calmly but sharp enough to slice glass. Kendra, she said, when a man pays the bills, sleeps on a futon because his fiancée wants space, gets lied to about a pregnancy, and still doesn't throw your things out on the street, that's not abandonment. That's restraint. Deborah tried to jump in. Now wait just a minute. No, you wait, my mom said. I've watched your daughter manipulate my son for 2 years, crying over nothing, gaslighting him, turning every disagreement into a campaign. I stayed out of it. I kept quiet. But now you show up at my house, uninvited, blaming him. My jaw actually dropped a little. I'd never heard my mom use the word gaslighting before. She continued, still cool as ice. You don't get to raise a drama queen, then cry foul when she loses the stage. More silence. Then some shuffling like chairs being pushed back. Kendra's voice came through, stiff and snippy. We should go. Good idea, my mom said. The line went dead. About an hour later, she called me back. I answered on the first ring. You good? She asked. Better than I've been in months. She paused. Never liked her, you know? No. Used paper plates at Thanksgiving. Who does that? I laughed. Should have been the first red flag. Next time, bring home someone who owns ceramic. Deal. A week later, my apartment finally felt like mine again. No crystals on the windowsills. No diffuser fogging up the air with eucalyptus. No cousin in the guest room slamming doors at 2 a.m. Just clean counters, silence, and the sound of my Spotify playlist bouncing off the walls. I tossed out most of her junk, candles, dream journals, 3 different kinds of vegan mayo. But I kept one of the throw pillows from the couch. Pale green, embroidered nonsense across the front. Permission is power. I flipped it over and wrote on the back with a Sharpie. Home is peace, not permission. It stayed. Melissa came by the next night. New girl I'd met through a mutual friend at a bonfire. Down to earth. Had her own place. Paid her own rent. Brought wine and didn't ask what brand of sage I liked. She sat on the couch, glanced around and said, "This place actually breathes. You know what I mean?" I did. We weren't serious yet, just getting to know each other. But for the first time in forever, I wasn't walking on eggshells in my own home. No mood swings, no fake silence, no guessing games. Just space. Mutual. No power plays. Mutual friends still kept me in the loop, though I never asked them to. Paul texted me. She's back living with her mom. Blew up at someone in the Target parking lot last week. She's going full local legend. Tara's sister sent a DM. She's not allowed back at the pottery studio. Apparently told 3 people different stories about what happened with you. Another friend chimed in, "Dude, she told someone you faked the pregnancy. Like, how does that even work?" I didn't reply to any of it. Didn't need to. I felt no anger, no bitterness. Just done. Clean break. I'd been trying to fix something that wasn't broken. It was just never mine to keep in the first place. And that resort bill? For nights, room service, minibar damage, breakfast buffet every morning? Best money I ever spent. What would you have done if someone kicked you out of your own bed? Drop your take in the comments. And hit follow if you want more stories like this one.